Hi my lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. So the last video I did got a lot of good feedback, and a lot of women wanted to know more about me, if I have any more insecurities, and if I do, how do I deal with them. They wanted to know a lot more about how to deal with their insecurities. They wanted tips, tips and tricks on how I dealt with mine, and wanted me to touch a little bit more on self-love, the art of self-acceptance. So that's what I'm going to be doing and sharing with you guys today. So a little bit about me. I'm a plus size model and a proud body activist. So for people who don't know what a body activist is, or what the body activist movement or body positive movement is all about, I've got a little description here that I'm going to read to you guys. So the body positive movement is a movement that encourages people to adopt more forgiving and affirming attitudes towards their bodies, with goals of improving overall health and well-being. The body positive movement targets all body shapes and sizes. So pretty much we love to embrace everybody's shape. There is no one set shape, size or color that defines beauty. We accept everything, we love everything. It also says that we love to encourage people to adopt more forgiving and more affirming attitudes towards their bodies, with the overall goal of improving your health and your well-being. And that is really important when learning the art of self-acceptance. I'm just going to get straight into it. Here are some questions. So I had a couple questions, and I have a couple questions. I had a whole heap and I only picked a few. So question one was, how did I learn to love myself and overcome my insecurities? If you still have insecurities, what are they? So that's a really good question. That's a really, really good question. So I did have a lot of insecurities when, I shouldn't say younger, before I started this whole Age of Penelope journey, and a lot of them were revolved around my appearance. The first massive insecurity I ever had was obviously my weight. My weight was always a big insecurity. I was so fixated on that number I would see on the scales, and it would drive me crazy. Every single time I would jump on the scales and see a number that wasn't smaller than the last number, I would be just disgusted in myself. So I remember when I used to weigh myself like constantly all the time, and I would jot down my weight like most girls do. They would, I don't know, put them down in a notebook or whatever. I used to put them in the notes in my phone. And I was so delusional that I would think people would go into my phone, decide to go into my notes, look at my notes and magically find my weight sitting in there. So I would put when I would weigh myself, I would put my weight in a dollar value. So if anybody went into my notes and saw what was in there, they would just see like $80 or $85, but would actually mean 85 kilos. I would put it in a dollar value, so if anybody went in there and they would look at it, they wouldn't think, oh my gosh, you weigh 85 kilos. When I think back to that time, I can't believe that I went to that extent and that I was that delusional about stuff. It's ridiculous. Another big insecurity I had, this was when I was younger. I really used to hate my teeth. And I don't know why, because I love my teeth now. I realize how blessed I am to have such a nice smile. And I don't know what it is. When I smile, I don't know if you can tell, but my like top lip disappears and my gums show a lot. And I hated the fact that my gum ratio was bigger than my teeth. I don't see it anymore. I just think it's so silly that I used to think like that, but that was another huge insecurity. And I would always hide my mouth when I laughed or when I smiled, because I didn't want people to see my teeth. So So silly. Another big insecurity I had was my thighs. I really hated my thighs because they're so thick and they're so chunky. My name was always Thunder Thighs because I always had big thighs. But now they're just another thing that I learned to love and embrace. Another thing that I struggled with, especially when I was younger, was having a booty, having a butt. When I was younger, I always used to get teased about having a booty. So as I got older, it kind of stuck with me, and it's kind of a love-hate relationship. Some days I love it, some days I hate it, but it is what it is. When you do have those days where you feel insecure, it's really important you know how to approach it and what to do. And what I like to do is tell myself words of affirmation, fill my mind with positivity, be around positive people, and just embrace positivity as in itself. So I'm just going to move on to the next subject, which was learning the art of self-acceptance. So self-acceptance, this is stuff that I think works well for me as a person. So I'm just going to reiterate again that this is things that I believe personally worked well for me. So the first thing you really need to learn, or accept I should say, when wanting to appreciate and love yourself and accept yourself, is that there is only one you. That's it. You are unique, you are beautiful, and you are fearfully, wonderfully made, and you can't change you. That's it. You are you. There's no one else like you. If you want to love yourself, it starts with having self-respect. So having self-respect is very important, as well as having a positive mindset about yourself. So thinking about yourself in a positive manner. That doesn't mean being conceited and putting yourself on a pedestal and thinking you're the business. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying having a healthy mentality about yourself is really, really important. It also means you do not, and I repeat, because so many people, especially females, especially my ladies, we do this all the time. I do this all the time. You do not need anybody's approval or opinion to validate your worth. You know your worth is not based on what someone says about you, because it doesn't matter. Once you understand that, oh my goodness, again, it's going to do wonders. Another major key alert. Major key alert! That you do not need anyone's opinion, anyone's whatever to validate your worth. We all have some type of special ability or talent, and I found that embracing mine really helped me to love myself more. So I believe that my talent is the power to empower. So I believe that I've been blessed with a mouth that has been able to speak life into people and empower people. So the moment I embraced that beautiful talent or that beautiful ability that I was blessed with, it was another way for me to learn to love myself. To love yourself, you need to look after your body. So physically, mentally, and spiritually. So when I tell people I am a plus size model, they usually think that I don't physically look after myself, which is so far from the truth. If anything, I eat healthy, I drink a lot of water, I exercise when I can. But if I feel like a pizza, I'm going to eat a pizza, and I'm going to enjoy that pizza. I'm going to enjoy every single slice of it, and I'm not going to worry about the calories after I eat it. That's probably the worst thing you could do. You're actually mentally harming yourself. You're mentally harming yourself when you're constantly worrying, thinking about how many calories you just ate, or how am I going to work off all that, That's probably the worst thing you could do. So the next step to learning how to love yourself is your mentality. Having a positive mindset, always encouraging yourself, always putting yourself first. And I really believe this one is important, putting yourself first. But this one can also really be the hardest thing to do, because that might mean removing yourself from toxic relationships, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, a partner. It also might mean friendships, friends that you've been with for years and you need to cut yourself out of that relationship because it's not healthy for you. And this can be really scary. But doing that, taking those steps in the right direction, is building character. And character building is ultimately you improving yourself and your personality, which is essentially you showing your self-worth, showing your self-love, which in other words is just loving yourself. So you being able to cull back those relationships, to take a step back and remove yourself from those toxic relationships, putting yourself first, putting your self-worth first, is you actually showing yourself self-love. You're loving yourself. That's a huge step to be able to do that. And that's what I mean when it can be really scary and it can be really hard to do those steps, because again, it could be relationships that you've been in for years. It can be family, it can be friends, it could be your husband, it could be your wife. It's your comfort zone. So being able to step out of that and remove yourself from anything that's toxic. I always like to say, if it brings you heartache or headaches, it's not for you, boo. It's just not for you. So if it's doing one of those two things, it's not healthy. It's gotta go. It's gotta go. So far we have your physical, looking after your physical body, mentality, your mind, looking after your mind, and lastly, spiritual. And this one's my favorite, because when you have a great physical body, when you have a positive mindset and you're strong spiritually, that's like the magic trio. That's the dream team. You can't go wrong. A perfect example of this is when you see celebrities or really successful people and they say that they're still missing something, or they still feel like they're missing something. They have the perfect house, the family, they have fame, they have lots of friends, they've got money, they've got the ideal body, they've got what everyone normally dreams of or desires or want in their life, and they still feel like they're missing something. They're still searching for the next big thing. They're not content, and that's because they don't have that spiritual guidance. And I truly believe, me, myself, that is a huge and massive important part in learning how to love yourself and accept yourself, is having some type of spiritual guidance. For me, I feel like without it, I wouldn't be the person that I am today, definitely. It's good to know that I always have somebody that I can be held accountable to, somebody that I can always confide in and just be comfortable. Not only does it keep me sane, but my soul and spirit always feels full and nourished. Again, don't be offended. This is just things that I believe for myself that work well for me, and how I found my self-love and self-acceptance. It might not be for everybody, but this is what you guys wanted to know, and how I found myself and love myself and appreciate myself. These are all the steps I took and continually take, and I'm still learning every day. And this is the things that I've learnt that I want to share with you guys, so you guys can try them out, give it a go and see if it works well for you. But I'm just going to quickly end with this. You only have one body your entire life. There is only one you in this whole entire universe. Therefore, you are special. Love yourself wholeheartedly, and that confidence that you dream of will come naturally. Be ashamed of nothing. You are loved, you are worthy, you are one and only.